Good afternoon, everyone. It's Kirsten here for a Thursday Spa Business Break, where I talk about your spa business and all the moving pieces involved in spa ownership. It is not an easy gig. So today I want to talk about essentially how to manage your spa goals, expectations. So you may be feeling like getting to the end of the year here and realizing, oh man, did not grow as much as I wanted to this year, and you may be feeling really frustrated about it. And when we get into that place of feeling frustration, it's a pretty crappy place, because you'll notice that we often kind of halt our creativity and we start getting kind of stuck and sticky in this kind of more of a negative mindset, which affects everything in our business. So today I want to help you to understand some of the things that happen as a spa owner in our business that slow down and speed up our growth. Some of these things we do them to ourselves. So I think it's pretty common as far as entrepreneurship goes, is that we are great at coming up with ideas. We love that part. We're visionaries. That's what makes us entrepreneurs. We had this big vision about what we wanted to do with our skill set as estheticians and spa professionals. And what happens as a spa owner is that we often get into the weeds of day-to-day business and things get bogged down. But that doesn't take away from the fact that you have these ideas, you have these goals, you want it, and you want it now. But the problem is, when it doesn't happen fast enough, you can get really down on yourself, which starts triggering this cascading effect of negativity, which can get you into that sticky place that I was talking about as far as mindset. So when it comes to managing your own business expectations, we're talking about not just sales growth, but we're talking about things like hiring, training, and then the expectation of how that staff member is going to be working in your business. We're talking about having marketing ideas and the outcomes that you want and expect. Now, all of the ideas come really great, but the problem is, for most spa owners, is the implementation. It's not just the implementation, that's a big piece, but the ideas come easy. But where you get bogged down is starting to create strategy. You kind of don't know exactly what all the steps need to happen. And then when it comes to implementation, because you don't have all the steps laid out for yourself and planned out, the implementation falls apart and really doesn't happen. So the truth of the matter is that when you have an idea for your business, the organization of it and the implementation of it will take you much longer than you think it should. Think about it for yourself. Go back and think about the growth initiatives that you have been working on. Most likely, you got into that organizational piece of it, setting up all the little action steps that you need to do, but you either got bored or you didn't know enough, and that's kind of where it stops. So the other piece where this kind of gets bogged down is that you may just have more questions at that organizational piece that you don't know how to answer. Maybe you are wanting to do kind of like a beta test or a case study. All of those things will slow down the growth initiative. If you don't know really what you're doing, it's going to slow things down. You're going to get frustrated, and then it doesn't get implemented. When you are planning your 2019, I would like you to consider, when you're thinking about things like bringing on a new product line, hiring a new team member, starting a new marketing initiative. Say you don't do any kind of email marketing and you want to start doing email marketing once a month. I would like you to consider including much longer time period of working on those projects than you think it will. So if you think that with your email marketing, that you're going to put an hour of your time aside on your Mondays, which is your admin day, and you're going to bang out this email and have it sent out. If you are not great at copywriting, it's going to take you much longer than an hour. If you're not great at coming up with ideas for what you want to focus on for the month, it's likely going to take you more than an hour. So the beauty, though, is that when you stick to this kind of thing, if you want to stick to email marketing, the more you do it, the faster you'll get at it. But the problem is with a lot of spa owners is like, I don't have enough time, it's frustrating me, and then you just ditch it and it doesn't get implemented. So what I'm the message I really want you to hear today is that to manage your own outcomes, you're going to need to manage your own expectations. And with managing those expectations comes with the fact that these growth initiatives will take much longer than you think they will. Unless you've had a lot of experience before with them, then they'll just start rolling. But if you don't have a lot of experience, it just takes longer. So that's my first consideration that I would like you to do. When you're planning out your 2019, just make sure you're giving yourself enough time. So if you're new to email marketing, for example, give yourself the morning to work on your email marketing. Or even better, because I find, quite frankly, when I'm doing creative work like that, I often need to do it in chunks. So I'll do my first draft one day, and then I'll go back to it the next day and do my second draft with fresh eyes. So that's okay too, but you just need to make sure you're chunking out enough time to give yourself enough time to get it right. Okay, I also promised today that I would talk about, things that will speed up the growth in your business as it comes to leadership, and things that will slow down the growth in your business. So as far as growing quicker, if you want to grow quicker, a big one is your mindset as far as being a service provider. If you want to go quicker in your business, you need to get out of the worker bee mentality. The worker bee mentality is in the treatment room, stuck in the treatment room. I know that you may love giving treatments to clients, but you have to decide at some point. In your leadership, you have to decide what's more important to me. If you really love just being in the treatment room with clients, then you may need to re-strategize how you want to grow your business. You're likely going to need to have to hire some sort of manager to manage the operations, because the fact of the matter is there's only so much time in the day. And unless you want to be working, past into your personal time, this needs to be tasked out, outsourced to somebody else. So get out of the worker bee mentality, and that would translate into spending less time in the treatment room. When you spend less time in the treatment room, you have more time for your admin, for your growth initiatives, to actually get the organization ready, the organizational pieces ready, and then implement it. The other piece as far as growing quicker, a lot of times we just need somebody else to bounce ideas off of. Now, whether that is an SD bestie that you have that you can hop on Skype and like, hey, I have this idea, I need some help strategizing it and writing out the plan and my implementation, or whether that means just hiring a coach for half an hour or an hour, or a consultant to walk you through it. So I do get a fair amount of calls for people just wanting to pick my brain for an hour. And I love doing that. That's super fun for me. And for you, what it does is that you get some really very clear, practical steps that you need to be taking. So if you're in that place where I'm like, I kind of just don't know what to do with my business, then likely you're going to need some help. Otherwise, you just get stuck in this place of, I don't know what I don't know, and I'm flying blind. And that's okay. That's okay, but it does mean that your business will grow a little slower. Okay, things that will slow down your growth for sure, and some of these are okay. They have to be okay. And what I mean by that is sometimes when you're going through some personal stuff, some personal growth, that means that your mental bandwidth is needing to be working on that. Your energy needs to be in that arena at the moment. And so that's okay. I know it's frustrating. I've certainly been there where I've had a lot going on in my personal life. It's been really stressful, and my business would slow down because of it. And it was very, very frustrating because I really, really, really wanted, I had I had strong goals that I wanted to make. But the fact of the matter is that I had stuff going on in my family that needed me, and that was my decision. It was my priority. I needed to be available with my mental bandwidth, with my family, and working on my own stuff. So although sometimes that just puts a wrench in your business plans if something goes sideways with your personal life, the fact of the matter is it's life, and sometimes we need to pause and deal with things and then come back to work when you're able to. I don't mean totally like not going to work at all. I just mean talking about growth and fast growth. If you've got something else going on in your personal life that's really big, it's extremely difficult to do both at the same time. Another thing that does slow down growth is if you have kids. And again, this is a choice, right? We decided it was important for us to have a family. And again, the fact of the matter is that we want to be present and available for our families. And so that means that it has to be okay that our growth won't quite be as quick as it was if we weren't spending more time at home with our families. Again, that's totally okay. And today's Facebook Live is really about managing your own expectations. If you are kind of feeling this tension between, having commitments at home and wanting to be there for them, but really wanting to press hard and move forward on your growth in your business, and you're just on your own, you don't have a coach, you don't have a support system behind you, you don't have a team, then it makes it really difficult, right? So then it's just the decision that you need to make. Okay, right now at the stage of my life, I'm going to be okay with not having this massive growth. I'm just going to do this slow and steady. And then when my kids are old enough, then I'm really going to hit the jets. I've seen that. I've done this with my own life. I've seen this with my clients as well. And it's worked really well, because once you make that kind of, it clicks in here. Yeah, I'm in family mode right now, but in a couple of years, I'm going to really hit the jets. There's an ease that comes with that, as far as not as much pressure. All right, I also talked about another thing that slows you down is staying in the treatment room. So if you are an owner with a team and you're still in the treatment room, afraid to say that this is slowing down your business growth, unless you have a manager who is running the show. Trying to do it all on your own. That's another really great way to slow things down. If you want to be chief cook and bottle washer, that's great, but then it's pretty difficult to be, focusing on, if you have to focus on being in the treatment room, doing all your inventory, managing your team, cleaning the house at home by yourself. If you're trying to do it all on your own, it's too much. It's just too much. And, I know that's part of what makes you a good entrepreneur. It's like, I can do it, but it also it helps you struggle as an entrepreneur because you think you're the only one that can do it. So outsourcing is one of those big pieces as far as business growth. Yes, you're spending a little bit more money on outsourcing, but it allows you to work on growth initiatives to bring in more business. The growth initiatives are your zone of genius. So outsource your laundry, outsource your cleaning, outsource your social media, outsource your copywriting for your website. There's all sorts of things we can outsource. But the message I want you to hear is that you cannot do it all and still grow quickly. The last piece that will slow you down is skimming the surface on your business ideas and your business growth. And what I mean by skimming the surface is that you have an idea for something and you really haven't done your research as far as how to make that happen. So a great example would be Facebook ads. You've got this great idea, you want to do Facebook ads, but if you don't know anything about Facebook ads and you're just hitting boost post all the time, and maybe you've taken a couple of free webinars on Facebook ads, I'm going to be straight up honest with you. Those webinars are great and they will give you some great information, but it's still not going to give you, they're usually free webinars with the intention of, purchasing a bigger program, which is it's a fantastic model. I've used that model. It's giving a little bit to people for free and in hopes that they'll see the value of what you're doing and then purchase to really dig deep into the actual topic. So on the topic of Facebook ads, if you've just done a couple of free things and you read a couple of blog posts about Facebook ads and then you start doing Facebook ads and they're not working for you, of course they're not working for you. You have only skimmed the surface. You do not have enough information. The solution to that is dive deep into Facebook ads. If you are a spa owner who is wanting to dig into Facebook ads, then you definitely want to look at Tara Zucker's program. I think it's called Successful Facebook Ads Club. She's very, very specific with spa owners, and I know that she is, there's a lot of hand-holding through that program. So what I'm trying to get at is you can't just skim the surface, have a couple of free nuggets and then expect to implement some real rock star growth initiatives. You got to dive in deep. And in order to dive in deep, you need to have time to research, to once you've done your research, how's this going to look like for my business? And then planning it out and then implementing it. So you see, it takes so much more time than we think it is, than we think it's going to be. All right, so yeah, so those are my notes that I have here for you as far as what speeds you up as far as business growth and what slows you down. And also to help you manage your own expectations about business growth, because most of us, we came up the ranks as service providers into this. Many of us didn't come into the spa industry with business knowledge. And so, especially with social media now, we see all the, we see all the great stories, but we don't see the details of how they got there. So it's really easy to see somebody else's highlight reel and be really critical of our own reel. When the fact of the matter is that somebody else's highlight reel had a crap ton of work and a crap ton of time dedicated to that growth and success. So today is about managing your expectations for growth. If you have, I'm wondering if you've actually had any growth initiatives this year that kind of was a bit of a flop for you. And I'm curious if you are willing to do a little bit of self-reflection. What do you think was the reason for the flop? And it's okay that flops. Not all ideas are great ideas. Not all, nothing. Business is a big experiment, and that has to be okay. That's how I look at my business. That's how I look at my clients' businesses. And when you look at it from the perspective that it's a science experiment, it gives you some room to breathe and to not be so perfectionistic, right? I know you guys are there's a lot of perfectionists in the arena of spa ownership. We want it all to look beautiful, all to look perfect, all to happen perfectly. And that gives you that confidence, right? And then when that doesn't happen, you don't have that confidence. So I hope that today helped you manage your expectations as far as business growth and what helps and what hurts it. So that is it for today's Spa Business Break. Thanks for joining me. If you have anything to add to this conversation, I love when we can really dig into these topics and dig into, be honest about things. If we're not honest about it, then how are things going to change, right? Okay, thanks for joining me. Have a great week. We'll see you next Thursday for another Spa Business Break.